Good evening. Welcome to Talk Back Georgia. I'm Jewel, your host, and I'm excited to tell you that having been an advocate for many years across the state of Georgia, it has come to my knowledge that we do not have a platform, and this show will give you, people like you and me, a chance to be able to deal with the issues that we care so much about. From our city level, to our county level, to our state level, and even to our congressional level, where we can come and share those issues with each other. So we will be right back. Welcome back to Talk Back Georgia. Now we're going to go into an episode talking about voting and the importance of voting. Voting is so important. One of the main reasons it is because right now we're in a season where our democracy is at stake, and we must go vote to save those most important areas that covers us, such as our freedom. Our Constitution gives us the right for so many freedom things, and if we're not voting, we could easily have those things taken away from us. One of the most important things that I have realized, being as active as I have been and have ran for office myself, a lot of us have not realized the importance of voting, or maybe it is that we just don't care. This particular program hopefully will help us to start looking in the right direction as to how important voting is. We must go vote in order to save our freedom that we've enjoyed in this country for so many years. Another thing that's very, very important for voting is vetting your candidate. It is so important that you vet your candidate, and don't say I'm voting because it's my sorrow, it's my friend, my neighbor down the streets, and all of them have they've gotten together to vote for their friends. But that don't give you the information that you really need about that candidate to be able to actually vote for that candidate. One of the things that you need to be doing is finding out exactly who that person is, where they came from, what have they been doing in your community or their community. Are they a part of your community? You need to know those things. What is their platform? What have they planned on doing in the next 2 years or the next 4 years in which they are running for? This gives you a good idea about this particular person. You need to be asking questions. Get in a position to ask questions. All candidates have their information listed. Most of them have email addresses, telephone numbers, and campaign headquarters. Make it your business to get to know every little thing possible about that candidate, and make sure you make them understand what your issues are. Because when you go to that poll to vote, you're voting for yourself. You're not voting for a party. You're not voting for someone that just come off the streets that say, oh, that's a good person. Go ahead and vote for him. I'm going to vote for him. I'm going to vote for her. You want to do that for yourself. The next thing is, you don't want to be married to a party or an elected official. And I've noticed over the years, I've ran several times, and I've heard people say over and over, I like my commissioner. I like my state rep. I like my state senator. And I have asked them on several occasions, what is it that you like about them? Well, they always run, but when I call them, it's hard for me to get in touch with them. Well, that's not a good reason to say you like them because they always run. What are they doing for you? What can you go back and look at that they have delivered to you, your community, that you have been able to gather anything tangible or anything that you can deal with to help you correct the issues that you're concerned about. Right now, we have a lot of issues that our elected officials can be helping us with. And one of them is health care. On the south side of Fulton County, which is the largest county in all of Georgia, there has been total disparity as it relates to our health. We have lost 2 hospitals. We have lost a lot of clinics. And we have lost a #1 trauma center that left us with only 1 trauma center. What are we going to do as large as that area is, the metropolitan Atlanta is, which is Fulton County, that stretches 88 miles long? What if you're having multiple things, car crashes and people being shot up randomly on one side and on the other side, and you only have 1 trauma center? That is very, very detrimental to our health. And then we have to look at the distance. If you're on the far end of the south part, it's going to take you anywhere from 40 to 45 minutes to get to that only 1 trauma center that we have left. So that's very important that we look at the bigger scope and make sure that our elected officials have their nose to the point that they know exactly what's going on with us. We should be able to call them, email them, and let them know these are the issues and concerns that we have. You must address these particular issues. As we move forward, we're just going to take a little break right now, but I promise you, we will be back. Thank you, and I'll be back in a few minutes. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. I promised you I was coming back, and I'm coming back just to reiterate some of the things that we talked about before we took the break, which was voting and the importance of voting, vetting your candidate, and don't be married to a party or elected official. One of the things that I think is very, very important for us to talk about is the fact that we have several parties within this. I'd say about a total of 4. You want to look at the fact that we have Republican, Democrat, Independent, Libertarian. And what I want to express to you about that particular group of parties that we have in this country is the fact that in the general, we have an opportunity to choose each one of those. But before you go vote, I would reiterate again the importance of vetting your candidate. Let's say, for instance, in vetting your candidate, you found out that the Libertarian candidate addresses your issues and concerns more than the Democratic candidate. So that gives you an opportunity to vote for the Libertarian versus the Democrat. So you have more options in the general, which is a good thing. And I think that's one of the things that a lot of us probably haven't utilized as much as we should. And because if you do that, that gets you closer to the things that you really care about, whether it's something from your city, whether it's something from your community, the county, the state, or even the congressional area. So I feel that that is very, very important to you. And you should know everything there is to know about a candidate. Because, again, as I've said before, voting is very, very important. Let's look at our history. Our parents, so many of them died for us to have this right to vote. And I feel that we should never, ever let a voting period go by, that we don't engage ourselves enough to know how to vote and go vote. And again, I can't stress it any harder than I've been stressing it before. It is so important for us to vote. I get so high and so happy when it's time to vote because I know that I'm going to get a chance to address some of the most important issues that I have. And I will address them with the candidates and make a decision that that should happen. And doing that also give you an opportunity to also look at other concerns that we have that will help us with our voting. We have the Black Lives Matter group, and their main concern has been about police abuse. In that area, you're going to look at people that is going to be able to be fair, able to do the job justly, and the people that represent you should know what your concerns are about that, so they can assist in being in strong representation of what your needs on that particular matter is. It is so important for us to engage not only in our personal issues that concerns us, but the other issues out there that concerns us. And another issue that concerns and should concerns all of us, especially if you live South Side, and that is making sure that we are not bombarded with everything negative, because history has shown us we have all the warehouses. We have all the negativity in terms of pollutions, trucks, anything that's negative. We have the highest rate of cancer because of all those things that we're breathing in, and even the consumption of the food and water that we drink. So all those things are very, very important, and it's important that you let your representatives that's going to be representing you, whether they're city council or whether they're your county commissioners, or whether it's your state representatives, state reps, state senators, or your congressional rep, or your U.S. senators. These people should know that these are the things that are affecting you. These are the things that you want them to address. And I can speak very openly about some of the things that has plagued us for over 40 to 50 years. And this is part of voting, because these things has happened to us because of our voting, the way we voted, and the fact that we did not supervise our elected officials. One of those things is equity. Take a look at North Atlanta versus Southwest Atlanta. The disparities are horrible. Take a look at North Fulton versus South Fulton. Again, the disparities are horrible. Take a look at Fulton County Schools on the north side versus Fulton County Schools on the south side. The disparities are horrible, mainly because we have not made sure that we vetted our representative and held their foot to the fire to make sure that they are doing the things that they need to do to make sure that there's fair equity across Fulton County, one of the largest counties in the whole state of Georgia. That is very, very important, because number one, when you go vote, the person that ends up with the seat becomes a representative of the people. They become an employee of the people. You become an employer of the representatives. And it is your responsibility to make sure that you are supervising your representation, because you voted for that person. If they're not making the cut, then when it's time to vote again, it is time for us to do an evaluation. Oh my, you should enjoy doing an evaluation, because that is your opportunity to decide whether or not that you're going to bring this representative be it state rep, state senator, commissioner, U.S. Congressman, or whatever. You're going to make that decision as to whether or not you want to bring them back again. You may not want to do that after you evaluate where they have been in the issues that you know that you have been delivering to them. What have they delivered in their 2 or 4 years that they represented you? You want to know if there has been any response, because we have had situations, and I personally have had situations, where you and I have called upon these people and they have totally ignored us until election time. And boy, I'm telling you again, that's an opportunity to really let them know, although you're letting them know all along that you need them, and they are not listening, or they don't care, or they may have this attitude of, well, she is a Democrat, and all Southside Democrats vote nothing but Democrat. So I really don't have to do anything until election time. So we want to dispel that particular thought out of any incumbent or candidate's head, that we are going to just vote for them because they are Democrats. And that takes us back to what I've been saying earlier about not being married to a party or an elected official, because that's not how our government is set up. We have to remember and follow the way it's set up, and that is, we are the ones to supervise our elected official, and they are the employees of the people. There should be a mutual respect between our elected officials and the people. We should respect them, and they should respect us. And we should do our duty, and they should do theirs. These are some of the things that's very, very important as it relates to voting. So one of the other things that I may not have mentioned to you, but just in case I didn't, and that is getting to know what each level of government is supposed to be responsible for. Because number one, you can do it, but you should not call your congressional representative to complain about your trash services. That is a city responsibility, and your councilwoman or councilman should be able to address those issues for you. Those are the kinds of issues that they deal with. When it comes to our state, their main thing is about the budget and being responsible for you and for the state. Now listen to the title of the state people. There is state rep, and there is state senators, and each one of them has that title that says state. And ladies and gentlemen, what that really means, that they represent not only a district, they represent the whole state of Georgia as well. And that is one thing we as people has to dispel, not only with our state reps, but our congressional reps, our county commissioners, our council people in cities, and that is whatever city, county, or state that you represent. It does not mean that you just represent that particular district. You represent the whole shebang. Let me give you an example. Let's say that I'm having a serious problem, let's say with funeral homes and senior services. One of the things that I would do, that I'm concerned about, I'm going to deal with my seniors through my county, and that is human services. And I can also call my state rep and state senator because they have a responsibility there for us as well. So those are the people that you can call for that particular area, because for funeral homes, your state senator, your state reps, they are responsible for funeral homes. So these are the people that you can call, that you can email, that you can get to them to address those issues as it relates to funeral homes or senior services. They are not separated. We cannot allow them to say, well, that's not my district. Well, I'm sorry, Ms. Jones. That is a service that you are supposed to deliver to all the people of Georgia. Let's say you have a relative that lives in Dublin, Georgia, okay? And you live here in Fulton County. You are in Dublin, Georgia, working with a relative, let's say. Then you can call your state rep and ask them to direct you to a state rep in that area to work with yours and that area to address the issues that's going on with your relative. So it's so important for us to know what each level of government is to be responsible for us. Utilize it. What I want you to do is don't sit home and complain about all the problems that you're having, no matter what they are. There is help out there. The most important thing is knowing where to go to get the help. And make sure that you keep notes as to who you call, the responses, how they delivered on the things that you asked. Because here again, I'm going to take you back. When it's time for them to run again, here's the time that you can really, really vet them based on the information that you know that they are supposed to be helping you with. Because I have realized over the years, having run for office several times myself, I've gotten so many complaints from people that either did not know what the responsibilities were for their mayor or their city council or their county commissioner or their state reps and state senators. I have heard so many, many things and have intervened and given advice to tell them how to call, what to do. And some people do it and they get a response. Some people do it and they don't get a response. I have had to do it myself. If it's voting time, I get a positive response. If it's just off time of voting, I'm telling you, I'm lucky if I get a call back maybe months later and the complaint would be, well, I have 58,000 people that I have to address. Well, I know your load is heavy, but we have to remember, you knew that when you ran. So as one of your constituents, I would like for you to address my concerns. I would like to help you address other concerns that are similar to mine. So ladies and gentlemen, with voting, I don't want you to ever forget the importance of voting. I hope that I have given you a lot of information. There's still a lot of information out there. There's a lot of opportunity for us to learn the things that we know so that we can utilize them to help us move forward. And I say again, we should not be in the position that we're in on the south side of Fulton County, because Fulton County has millions of dollars, our tax dollars, that they have utilized any way that they wanted to. If that had not taken place, we wouldn't have the disparity that we have. And it's up to us to put that foot to the fire to make sure that this stops happening. It is left up to you going and voting, but before you vote, you're vetting those people. Everyone that's there right now, you may want to think twice about whether or not you want them to go back. Same thing with our state people. You need to vet every one of them that you have to vote for and decide whether or not you want them to go back. Same thing with our city people, our council people, our mayors. It's important. You need to decide. Let me see what they have done. What has been creative here that we can say that this person needs to go back. Hey, and key thing that's very important, at the top of the ticket is your governors. They're supposed to represent everyone in the state of Georgia. And you know what? The state of Georgia has one of the strongest economic development department in the whole southeastern region. We have so many companies coming here, and it's up to us to push our state people and our county people to engage with our governors and lieutenant governors, where we are working a plan that when these big companies are coming here, that they're going to work with the South Side as well. We get nothing but negativity. Marginal homes, tiny homes, warehouses, dumps, composting, anything that's negative that they want to bring to Georgia is dumped on the South Side. And we need to make sure when we vote, we talk to those candidates, especially your governor, your lieutenant governor, and your state people, and your city people, that they are engaging to change things where South Fulton will be able to receive some of the benefits that all the other areas of Georgia have. It's like no one cares. None of the candidates even come to South Fulton, some of them, to campaign. Because a lot of them say, well, they're going to vote for me anyway, or the Republican candidates will say, well, they're not voting for me, so why should I go over there? So you need to give them a very strong reason why they need to come, because your vote is very important. Thank you. We're going to take a break right now, and I don't go anywhere. I promise you, I'll be back. Thank you for being with me with Talk Back Georgia. I just want to say thank you, and I am also super glad that you had a chance to remember to vote, vet, and supervise your elected officials. That is very important. And I know a lot of you will do it. You will do as I have done, and you will continue doing it. I want to say, stay tuned next time, because next week it's going to be a big surprise. Come back next week for the big surprise. Same time, same station. And again, thank you so much for being with us and Talk Back Georgia.